Yeah! He's free! Victor Wembanyama is playing in Game 5! Take that, Minnesota! Yeah!
They took it to the chin. Elbow to the chin. So, as you can tell, Frankie, that is Frankie. I am Nate, and this is not Priscilla. This is
Emma. I'm MySA's culture reporter. I'm from here in San Antonio. I was a military kid, so we moved around a lot, and I was not born here. But as they say, I got here as fast as I could.
I love that. All right, Emma. So, since you are a guest today, do you want to go ahead and kick us off?
Yeah. So, I mean, we cannot talk about Sunday night's game without talking about the flagrant foul in the room. But I want to know y'all's thoughts. Was it a valid call? Was it kind of an exaggerated call? Mitch Johnson seems to think that it might have been a little bit exaggerated, but just me personally speaking, watching it, there was an elbow to the neck. But, I mean, he's been taking a lot of physicality from other players, so we can debate about how much that was warranted and how much you should be able to kind of fight back when you're being fouled by two dudes.
Fair.
Yeah, and I mean, I believe you had mentioned it earlier. What was Mitch Johnson's exact words?
I think it was actually disgusting.
Yeah.
The amount of physicality that he's been taking, and when I was thinking about this, like, watching him talk about it, I mean, I think we moved on from the fact that he had a concussion in the second game of the playoffs really fast. So, And that's not just because he, fell out of thin air. Like, he's taking physicality. Dudes want to make sure that he's not around them. They want to take him out of the game.
Exactly.
He's not fun to play against.
Well, I mean, too, you saw it as soon as the ejection happened. You saw Ant starting to drive, Nasreet starting to drive, Randall starting to drive. Everyone started just attacking the paint with him not being in the game, which did ultimately result in, the Timberwolves taking Game 4. But I don't blame him for that play. Frustration or not, yes, you got to control your emotions when it comes down to it. 110% agree with that. Playing sports my entire life, I get it. But on the flip side, the refs have to get a handle on this game because
not only this game, this series.
Well, yeah,
like,
that too.
It feels like it's been overly physical the entire time, and I'm with you. I'm not pro what he did. You got to learn to control your emotions. It's the playoffs. We cannot have you out of the game. Any game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, we did great whenever he sat out, Game 3, concussion and whatnot, but we cannot have things happen like that where we are losing one of the only players with size on the court.
Absolutely.
It was very tough to see. And again, I don't blame him for it. I understand why he did it. And I understand that, whenever you're frustrated, these things happen. But he kind of has to learn how to just let it happen. And it was bound to happen. We saw, I don't know if y'all saw the replay on it too, like an arm went straight for his head. We talked about the concussion. You get bonked in the head again, you're kind of like, I really don't want to miss any more games. And that's what happened.
I just think too, to that point, like we saw what happened with Carter Bryant against Julius Randle.
Yeah.
Or was it McDaniels?
No,
It was Julius Randle, right? Where he got pushed into, McDaniels.
Yeah.
So you saw Julius Randle literally off the screen push him into there, and then there was marginal contact for them to then proceed to, call it a defensive foul on CB, but it's like...
Which was reviewed and still seen as a foul on him.
Exactly. So it's like, it seems like the Wolves are getting some type of grace. I get it. They're injury-ridden, whatever the case is, but it's just call the game both ways.
Yeah.
Call it both ways. Even to that foul that, or it should have been a foul, but when Fox went down in the, I believe it was third quarter, when they basically tried taking out his knee. Yeah. It's like, dude, come on. You are one of the best players. Y'all are some of the best players in the world. And you want to sit there and you mean to tell me that you didn't mean to throw your body into Fox's leg? Yeah. Like, dude, you could, the way that he was positioned and where the ball was going, you could have easily dove straight out for the ball. Yeah. But it's like, there's certain plays that these players are making that it's just a little questionable at times. It's a little questionable. And of course with the refs, same thing, some of the calls, a little questionable.
For sure. I still think, though, that was not the game that the Wolves probably hoped they would have after Wemby is absent. You would think, oh, this is really going to light a fire under them. We did see a little bit of a change, but it was not like it was some sort of blowout. Yep. Not the kind of performance that we gave them in Game 3.
Exactly.
Completely almost 40-point game. So I thought that was interesting because the Spurs obviously were up at some points, I think as much as 8 in the fourth quarter, kind of teetering between 8, 6, 4, 2 at times.
They couldn't even break that 10 threshold.
Yeah.
At some point. Yeah. They just couldn't.
But also, I mean, you heard the announcers say, like, in the third quarter, it was not a great quarter of basketball for the Wolves. And so I just wonder, and I want to know y'all's take on why couldn't we get the job done? That was not an unwinnable game, even without Wemby.
Yeah, so the thing is we had to worry about we mentioned the elephant in the room, and we got to worry about the ant in the room. Anthony Edwards went absolutely ballistic. I believe the stat line was 36 points in and nearly half of that was in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
The great equalizer in that situation should be Wemby, and because he wasn't out there, of course, that changes a lot of things. However, I do think, though, down the stretch,
shots weren't going in.
They were not, and especially in one case, like, I don't want to blame him, but Julian Champagnie is usually the guy to keep us in check on those situations. He'll have an open three, he'll make them. He was 0 for 6 for the entire contest. He was doing nothing from beyond the arc. The Spurs were struggling. They were shooting under 50% for the rest of the game. And then you look at Minnesota, who also struggled, but they made everything count when it needed to. They shot 90% from the charity stripe. They only missed 2 free throws out of the 22 that they took. And so they made every single shot count.
Yeah, and that was one of the biggest things that I realized that came to haunt the Spurs down the stretch is that Fox missed a pair. Castle missed a pair.
And we've talked about that before.
Yeah, exactly. It comes down to the free throws.
Keeps coming back to that, and it really sucks. Also, the other thing, again, without Wemby on the floor, they only had 3 blocks.
Yeah.
Whenever Wemby's down in the low block or anywhere in the vicinity, the other players are able to get blocks. And in this situation, they could not get a hand on the ball, even whenever they did, they still struggled to get the ball into somebody else's hands.
Exactly.
And that's what ended up happening.
Exactly. So. But I mean, Fox did come in the clutch. Fox was knocking him down when he needed to. He was gassed. You saw it late in the fourth quarter. Cornette, he did do what he needed to as well. He did disrupt a lot of plays in the paint defensively.
Yeah.
There was one point where I think, third quarter, Spurs defense was just lights out. Yeah. It was. And that's kind of what kept us in the game also. I mean, you had the clamps down on Randall. You had the clamps down on Edwards. You had the clamps down, across the board. But
that's the thing. They figured it out.
Yeah.
And after that, that was all she wrote.
I think the biggest thing that I picked apart from that, though, was the double team on Edwards. Once he started kind of going a little harder on the double teams, pressing it in the backcourt, that's where things opened up for the Wolves. And I think that's where Ant was able to kind of take over in that point, because once you double team, pass off the ball, drive it to the paint, kick back out to Ant, and that was it. There it is, off the screens, everything like that. So
yeah, I think it's pretty interesting though, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong about this, but I feel like obviously people who are against the Spurs, they like to say, oh, the Spurs don't really have anything going without Wemby. That's not true, but we tend to do better in games where Wemby isn't playing. We tend to do better when he's not playing from the jump than when he's out mid-game.
Yes.
And I just think that's such an interesting phenomenon that's going on. What do y'all think about that?
I think it's based on the game plan that Mitch and team go in with to the game. So
that has a lot to do with it.
You're going in expecting Wemby to be there, expecting him to play.
You're building around that.
So you have to make the adjustment mid-game, which I honestly think that Mitch did a really, really good job making that adjustment, because he went small ball and, it worked. It worked going into the second half. It worked, pretty much the majority of the second half. They just couldn't pull it out, when it came crunch time. But I mean, I think that was probably the biggest thing, is just the fact that, it's the game plan. You're expecting Wemby to play and he's not there. So you got to change stuff on the fly. The Spurs are showing that they have a fight in them. Mm-hmm. I think that game 5 is going to be a hell of a lot different. I think Wemby's going to be coming in with some of vengeance, of fire under him.
Hopefully not too much vengeance or fire.
Hopefully not too much, but
not too much.
I also think that elbow, though, I think it sends a message to the Wolves that he's not going to back down.
Mm-hmm.
He's not. And
you can't just push me around and expect me to not fight back about
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
Exactly. Because, I mean, even too, after, I think game 2 or 3, that we saw his arms and they were all cut up, slapped red.
Even in this photo
everything.
behind us, we can see he's got some scratches.
Yes.
But, yeah. I wonder what if they're going to bring Coach Pop back into the room again.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And this time it's just going to be okay, I know what I told you, Wemby, but you kind of just need to tone it down a little bit.
He can embrace his Timmy a little bit.
Yeah.
So more on Wemby. We do know that he is going to be playing. No suspensions, no fines. What do we think about that?
Listen, okay, I know this is very anti-Spurs of me, but he should have been fined.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm not.
Agreed.
I'm sorry, but this sets a very, very bad precedent because what if it was Luka? What if it was SGA? What if it was?
Well, if it's SGA, he gets 4 free throws.
Well, that's fair. Like he's the one getting.
He's on the ground.
Yeah. So if we look at everybody else. If Cade Cunningham would have done it.
He's in the nosebleeds if it's SGA.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like Cade Cunningham's, all these guys, if they would have done it, people would have been screaming, hooting and hollering about something should have happened. Yes, he got thrown out of this game, but I mean, everybody's kind of the same opinion. It looks like that he wasn't going to be suspended because of ratings, because he needs to be in there, but also I really do think something should have been done, and now the whole rest of the league is going to look at us. And the only reason why the rest of the league is not going to be upset with us is because they want the Spurs to take out OKC.
Yep.
Nobody can stand that team, and because those villains are there in Oklahoma, whatever the Spurs do or whatever anybody else does is perfectly fine. But if we end up taking out OKC, after that, everybody's going to look back at this non-suspension, non-fine, and be like, it probably should have happened. But, yeah, I mean, whatever.
But, I mean, also, too, it's like you think about it. People are complaining that the NBA is so soft. And it's like, here you have a player coming in, playing as aggressive as he's playing through contact. You know, there was a clear play in game 3 or I think it was game 4 actually, where Wemby got elbowed in the freaking jaw.
Oh yeah.
And didn't complain about it and turned around and ran her straight back down.
Yeah.
And he's just playing through it. So it's like, you know, y'all want that 90s ball back. Here it is. This is one of the best series that I think we've seen in a very long time.
I think a lot of people have said that this is the best series. People are just tuning in.
Because, I mean, you have 2 great players going at it. And, I mean, I have so much respect for Ant. Ant, the way he plays, the way he approaches the game. You know, I wouldn't want to keep playing him just because those knees, man. You see him landing. Yeah. You see where, he's wincing in pain. The winces. It's just like you're jeopardizing his future for your franchise. And it's like...
But for them, it'll all be worth it if they end up knocking us out and going on to win the whole thing.
Exactly.
That's the alternative, not player star player, in a series where every single game, you cannot predict the outcome going into the game. None of these have been, like...
close by any means. Yeah. Well, I mean, they've all been close, but...
They've all been close, but in a way that, like, it really keeps you on your toes. Like, that first game, 2-point loss.
Yep.
But then the second game...
Blowout.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and right now, we would be talking about a 3-1 lead.
Yeah.
If that other 3 goes in. I mean, who's to say that game 2 goes the way it goes and game 3 goes the way it goes?
Yep.
But this series could be a lot different if that 3 goes down from Champagne, who obviously, like I mentioned earlier, has been struggling. So
because also, too, like I just see it, like if the Wolves make it past us and they knock us out in this round, they're not getting past OKC. And OKC's road to the championship is clear as day. They have open field to go and take on New York. And do I think New York wins it? I can't say that they do. I hope they do. I just genuinely do not like OKC for what they've turned the game into. But on the flip side of that, I can't be mad at it, man. Yeah, I can't be mad at it. I can't. They figured out a way to hack the game, and that's what they're doing. And, it's like the flops I do think have ruined the game a little bit. It's becoming a little bit more just kind of funny to me, hilarious, the way that you see, nobody gets touched in the throat and somehow you get thrown back. Yeah. It's not shade at Chet, but I mean, that's basically what it is.
I do wonder how that'll shake up, though, if the Spurs meet OKC. You have, like, I don't know, the masters of flopping all over the place with Wemby, who now maybe is going to go, okay, like, are the refs going to call it on me if, like, what's going to happen? I don't
Defense
know.
is literally just going to be.
That's it.
Have you seen, what is it, Rebound?
Yeah.
Whenever they put the icy hot, it's just them, just hands up. Just.
That is true.
Be interesting to see. If anything, nerve-wracking, yes, but very exciting.
I do think the Spurs take it. My original take was in 5, but I do think they take it in 7. I think it's going to go to Game 7.
I think if they come into this game, into Game 5
tomorrow,
pretty heavy-handedly, I think it'll be over in 6.
I need another 30-point blowout. I need it. Yeah. I need it just...
I wish every game could be a 30-point blowout.
Oh, my God. I feel like my stomach is in, the lower part of me. I feel like it's just like... I can't take it, man. I can't take it.
My stomach's been in my toast for weeks. Okay?
I can't take it anymore. It's just
brutal.
I'm
nervous even thinking about it. And it's not because I don't believe in the Spurs. It's because I have anxiety. But just thinking about, I was like playing every situation through. We win Game 5 in San Antonio. Great, we're still going to go back to Minnesota for Game 6. And we don't know if they're going to be able to replicate that same performance there in Minnesota. If Minnesota thinks, okay, I mean, we win Game 6 here at home, we can push it to Game 7. All right, well, they'll be playing back in the Frost.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
which is going to be a different environment altogether because there hasn't been a Game 7 in San Antonio in I don't know how long.
Yeah.
It's been way too long.
If it's Game 7 in San Antonio...
San Antonio takes it.
Yes, absolutely, because there's no way that doesn't happen.
Yep.
But if somehow something happens and we drop Game 5 and have to go to Game 6 in Minnesota, the Spurs can either save themselves or Minnesota takes it at home. And that is a scary proposition and one that I don't really want to see.
Spurs in 7. Spurs in 7.
Doesn't matter, just win.
I mean, yeah, you are right.
I don't care how we do it, just win.
You are right on that. Well, I'm Nate.
I'm Frankie.
I'm Emma.
And this has been Spurs from Downtown. Catch y'all on the next one.